BMRForum.com and BMRodds.com, boys. What is going on? Welcome back to episode number 112 of The Lobby. Happy to be here, as always, each and every week with these wonderful co-hosts. And, a little bit of a different date this week, a Thursday rather than a Wednesday, but you'll get all the same action and more. But anyway, Donnie, what's up, buddy?
Feeling good, man. Did you notice that all 32 teams are in the NFL training camps right now? We're getting information. People losing their mind this morning where Justin Fields might have a devastating knee injury, which turned out to be a toe injury at this point. We are so starved for football that we treated that injury this morning as if it was the most famous player in the entire world getting injured for the season. But I love football being back. The dog days are coming up in August for Major League Baseball. And I'm telling you, usually these months, right? July, June might go a little bit slower. August usually flies. And before you know it, college football's on the docket, NFL's on the docket, and away we go, boys. Good time out here now. I'm enjoying myself.
Yep, Hall of Fame game coming next week. So definitely very, very exciting. Reload, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, same here. You just when you think it's the dog days of summer, you get a lot going on. And I think back to August. Yeah, August every year, all the big reload offers that would show up from the sports books and everything. You knew the spirit starts to hit when all that's going on. So and the preseason's always fun to follow. Maybe jump in on a few of those games, see what's going on. So we're right on the eve of the of the mass hysteria of football.
Yes, that we are. But unfortunately, we're starting the show today with some breaking, very sad news. 71 years of age, Hulk Hogan passed away. Very, very sad. Apparently, cardiac arrest is the preliminary report that I read. Only 71. I mean, a Hall of Fame wrestler, a legend within the wrestling community. I mean, me being 36, I grew up watching the guy. And only 71. I mean, Donnie, what? I don't even know what to say. Donnie, over to you on it.
It's tough news because legends, like we always talk about sometimes, oh, that guy was a legend. No, this guy was the legend in wrestling, the most famous wrestler in the history of the sport, and basically took wrestling from the gyms, the small arenas, the cable TV, small side spots into the national landscape here. And growing up for me, like in the 1980s and 1990s, back when the WrestleMania started to get turned on, like he was the attraction. He was that famous at that point. And the fact that he's now gone is just amazing, where you say to yourself, like, how did we get to this point? Movies, commercials, TVs, like selling stuff, various institutions. Like Hulk Hogan was his own institution out there. It's a shame because it comes as a shock. Like, oh, we knew it was coming. He's 91 years old, lived a good life. Like Hulk Hogan, like you see him in pictures now. And if you see him walk, he can't walk. He's had all those surgeries. But just in pictures, like, dude looks like he can go for another 30 years at this point and probably get into the ring. What a shame for the wrestling community. And I didn't know a single person in the 80s or early 90s that disliked Hulk Hogan. He was that big of a baby face in wrestling that made one of the greatest heel turns we've ever seen by going to Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I mean, that guy was amazing. And my goodness, it's shocking. It really is shocking that he's gone, guys. It is.
Yeah. Reload, over to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of memories of Hogan. I remember watching wrestling in the mid 80s. That's when I started, right when all that rock and wrestling connection started with MTV
so good.
And Hogan and Piper and all that. And I was casually into it then. And then, as 87 started to hit with the Hogan and Andre WrestleMania 3, and I just never let it go. I've been a fan ever since, and it's all because of him, really. I think if Hogan hadn't come along, it would have never been the same.
Definitely. And last but not least, Sammy, I know you're about the same age as me. You grew up watching the guy. I'm sure you got some memories.
Yeah, and Bobby, I didn't get a greeting this afternoon, so hello, Bobby. Good to see you and good to be back.
Right.
Sober right now as well. At work, at my conference room, just being able to put on the show, and sober right now, so that's a rare thing as well. But yeah, Hulk Hogan definitely growing up in the 90s. It's also interesting because it was before everyone in the world knew that wrestling was scripted. So he was a real hero, taking down Andre the Giant. Everyone knows that it's scripted now. So when big moments happen, it's still a big moment. But not knowing that it wasn't scripted, Hulk Hogan power bombing or power slamming Andre the Giant was one of the biggest things ever. And Bobby, I don't know if you remember, there was a movie where Hulk Hogan in the 90s, I forget if he was like if he was like a bodyguard or something for this family. It was a really horrible movie, but I do remember there being a movie in the 90s where WWF was trying to expand into, into Hollywood. It didn't work out great, but there was a couple movies with him. And then the worst part with Hulk Hogan is that his last WWE appearance, he was booed to shit. He was booed out of the arena in Los Angeles just because of some of the outside stuff. That's part of the new age of social media. And if we know that you're a bad person outside the world, we're going to boo you inside of our world. So that kind of stinks, obviously. But the other crazy part is the fact that Ric Flair is still alive when some of these other legends like Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake, we kind of know why he died, cardiac arrest. He did steroids for a ton of years. He did a ton of drugs, listen, they lived their life. But Ric Flair is notorious for all the drugs in the world, and he's still alive. Good for him. I'm not wishing any death upon anyone. But yeah, definitely the wrestling world is mourning for Hulk Hogan.
Yes, and a quick Google search tells me, Sam, Hulk was actually in quite a few movies. Secret Agent Club, Spy Hard, to name a couple, 95, 96. But I vaguely remember, was it The Bodyguard?
Yeah, I didn't know what the movie was. It was that simple, The Bodyguard.
It sounds
familiar. He had a couple funny movies.
I didn't see it.
He did.
Yeah. But unfortunately, speaking of people dying, unfortunately, another sad news report: Ozzy Osbourne has also passed away due to I want to say
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, but I'm sure all the drugs, the alcohol. I mean, I read a report. After he got let go from a band, he was a month in a hotel room doing drugs every day, drinking copious amounts of alcohol. I mean, that shit's going to catch up with you, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, being in my 30s, we now have a choice between drinking on Friday or drinking on Saturday. There's no early 20s where I'm getting drunk 3-4 nights a week and then being able to just wake up the next day. If I have one hangover, it's for the whole day. Some of my hangovers in 2024 literally lasted until dinner time. So, the fact that he's able to do that day in and day out, I guess your job is performing. So there's no 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever. But still, I can't imagine if I was on vacation drinking myself to a sloop for a week straight, even like what I used to do in my 20s in Vegas. But I mean, as far as the music side of things, obviously Hall of Fame career, great performer, great song. It's interesting that you could always understand lyrically his music, but then if you talk to him or if you interview with him, you're like, what the hell came out of his mouth? You can't understand a word that he says. But put him up on stage and boom, that's his time to shine. It's almost like another singer right now, Louis Capaldi, that struggles with his vocals and stuff. But when he's singing, he's good to go. But he has Tourette syndrome, and when he's outside of singing, it's like he's tough to listen to and tough to. But when he's singing, he goes into a different. Just a different world. So, rest in peace, Ozzy and his family. And he definitely gave us some comedic gold with the Ozzy Osbourne, one of those early reality TV stars, that show, Keeping Up with the Osbournes or whatever that was. But yeah, the whole family dynamic.
Donnie, over to you.
Hulk, it's still Hulk Hogan we talking about? What do we got?
Ozzy.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, Ozzy. Oh, my bad. Yeah, because I was following along on that. It's like, yeah, it's interesting. But Ozzy was an institute. I'm not a big rock and roll guy, to be honest. Like, growing up, listened to it, but Ozzy was a little bit before my time where I started to get into, the Metallicas in the 1980s and stuff like that. So for me, with Ozzy, it was actually more funny. You knew about the songs, Crazy Train, big in sports and all that stuff, and just a legendary individual, biting the head off of a bat. But where I started to love Ozzy was the MVP days, Meet the Osbournes. He was absolutely hilarious in every one of those TV shows where he was more of an icon to the people today of not singing, but just being a social media international superstar at this point. The family was hilarious and went on. It's a shame, though, because you look at him as compared to Hulk Hogan, where Ozzy living this long was absolutely amazing for him with all the stuff that he did. A rock legend, but I'm telling you, it's one of those rare things where a rock legend breaks through and is beloved by all generations because he was funny as hell on social media and TV, man. Awesome stuff out of Ozzy.
Yeah, Reload, your thoughts on Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, yeah, I could get into some stories with Ozzy. My first live concert was Ozzy Osbourne back in the mid-90s, actually. Yeah, I remember how excited I was. Got to see him in a place that only held about 5,000 people. So I remember waking up early Saturday morning, walking up to go buy the tickets, waiting in line, everything. Was really excited. to have like my first concert be that one. And the show was great. Korn actually was the opening act, and it's amazing what they went on to after that. This is like in the 90s. They were only on their first album then. But with Ozzy, yeah, amazing show. I recently, a few months ago, found some clips of it on YouTube. I watched every one of them, really relived it. The set list was great. Everything about it. It was part of his Retirement Sucks tour, it was called at the time. And it pretty much became the Retirement Never Ends tour. It never happened. The Retirement Never Happens tour, you might as well call it, because he just kept going on and on since then. And he just did that big show in the UK with Black Sabbath. And it's just, amazing. He powered through these last few months, made it into that show. Sounded okay, all things considered. And here we are a couple of weeks later, and he was gone. A lot of people are saying it was like he played at his own funeral, which is basically what it was. And that's, you couldn't go out any bigger.
Yep. So Donnie, let's jump over to you and let's talk some, NFL Hall of Fame game. I know we touched on it briefly in the opening. Lions and Chargers. Looks like the Lions are about a pick 'em -1, depending on where you shop. Are you going to be watching the game? Of course, you're going to be betting on it.
Yeah, see, I don't like betting on preseason NFL football, and maybe the worst game to bet on, to be honest, is the very first one of those, because we're not going to see any superstars. Neither one of these teams is playing at home, so it's like, okay, they have to get on a plane and fly there where the other team has the rest advantage. You're playing in a game in Canton, and the spread, just like the odds makers think, like they're the smartest men in the room. You know what they're saying to this one, guys? Coin flip. Pick either side, -110, -115, +100 split. Good luck, have some fun. And here's just a low total because we don't know what to expect from the offenses. 31.5, 32.5, 33.5. But I will definitely be watching. But here's the best part about it. I get so excited for preseason football to hit my TV, and I watch 5 minutes of it and go, this stinks every single year. Just get me to the regular season. But yes, I'll be watching. Yes, I love football just to see the uniforms. But boy, these games are boring in the preseason unless you're watching the team that you like. Detroit, I don't really care about. You take a look at, again, the Chargers. I don't really care about. The Eagles were playing their backups. I want to see it. But outside of that, no. I'll love it for 5 minutes and then be like, all right, I'm done. Give me to the regular season.
Sammy, over to you. Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Even when the Cowboys play, I'm not really that caring. If anything, I'll just look at the box score the next day just to see some stats, just to see who played, if they played decently, look at some reports. But it's just the fact that, hey, if you got multiple TVs at home or you got multiple screens, throw it on in the background, throw it on a low volume, keep moving your head, look at it a couple plays, but definitely some background noise. But if you're betting on that, God bless, hey, there's levels to degeneracy. And if you're betting on preseason football, hey, you're looking for some action, and we root for the best. But just like Donnie, I'll have it on as background noise, not too invested. I think if anything, you should always be betting on the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens didn't lose a preseason game in like 5 years or something like that.
1980.
Yeah, so I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, bet them in preseason. Every time else, just hope that none of your fantasy guys, none of your main guys on your favorite team get hurt. Maybe everyone's safe, and we got a healthy squad going into week 1.
Reload, over to you. Your thoughts, NFL game next week.
Yeah, well, with the preseason, years and years ago, you go back like maybe the early 2000s, I was a little more into the preseason. I remember I would scurry through looking for newspaper articles, anything I could leading up to the games to find out how long the starting quarterbacks would go, how long the starting defense was going to go. And then it just kind of tapered off with me. I haven't really done much with it in more recent times. But yeah, my advice is if you are going to bet preseason, you've got to really absorb as much info you can about the game. We're still a week away to that one. I would say you got to wait it out, find out what's going on. As we talk about with the scoring, I know it always looks appealing to take that under, but it is a low total, and all it takes is one silly play like a pick six or a block kick or whatever to make it go over. Believe me, I've been there and it's happened. So yeah, you want to tread a little lightly, and you might want to skip that first game.
All righty, thank you guys. And this Saturday, the Poker Tournament Champions final event will be happening. If you have not received a private message from me in regards to the Tournament Champions event, and you think you did go ahead and qualify, please let me know, and I'll make sure to get that over to you. But I received a package the other day in the mail, Sam, from the one and the only Flying Illini. I did an unboxing video, which I don't know if you guys checked out. A lot of unique and interesting and exotic products from Vietnam, including some chicken legs and some weird looking beef jerky. Sam, and I'm going to ask the question of each of you, but Sam, I'm going to start off with you. What is one of the most exotic, interesting, and maybe weird products that not even products, snacks, food, whatever the case is that you've tried in your lifetime? For me personally, my many, many years of doing these reviews, it's got to be rattlesnake. LV Herbie bought me, and I hate it to this day that my old YouTube account got deactivated because I'm missing all these great videos. But LV Herbie bought me a canned rattlesnake somewhere, and I had to open it up in my backyard because it smelled so bad. And it had bones in it. It was probably one of the worst things I have ever put in my mouth. Sam, over to you.
Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything like exotic. I'm not really that adventurous of an eater. I love the people that say, "Oh, you don't eat this? I love this." Well, great that your palate enjoys that. Why are you mad that I don't enjoy that? So I always love that argument when it comes to food or really anything in life. Like, I'm happy that you enjoy this food or shrimp or street food. Like, sorry that I don't. Who the hell really cares? But I would say one of my favorites is sending like a bag of dicks, like the gummy bears. Like, you can send a bag of dicks out. So I thought that's what maybe a line I sent to you was like the bag of dick gummy bears. That's pretty exotic. But I would say, like, when I was in college, we used to do a pig roast, and then we would chop off the pig's head and we would funnel beer through the pig's head. I know I've posted that a bunch on the forum, so I would say that's probably the most exotic thing, is funneling a beer through the pig's neck out the snout. But as far as food adventures, I'm not really that adventurous.
Yeah.
To break off to your point about, I'm going to argue with you because I like a certain food and you don't. Sam, if I want to go out to dinner with you and I want to go somewhere and I like a certain food and you don't like that food, it's going to be an argument because I want to go there. But anyway, reload over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that. A menu, because a menu has more than one item on the dish. Menu.
Okay, but let's say we go to a sushi restaurant and you don't eat sushi. What are you going to eat?
Well, then I will choose not to go to sushi, or, then that's case closed. If you want to go to sushi, then go grab your girlfriends or go grab your boyfriends and go to sushi. I'll let you go by yourself.
Fair enough. Reload, over to you. And I'm anxious to see your answer to this, Reload, because I know you've been, very well traveled down Dominican Republic multiple times, Costa Rica. Come on.
Yeah, well, I've had just about, even when I go there, I tend to just stick to things that I like to have, whether it's chicken wings, fish, whatever. But yeah, if you get to the more exotic things, I usually don't try anything. Like you say, sushi in a sushi restaurant, I'd probably just be having like white rice.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just to get through that and be like, no, I'm just going to have this white rice and you guys can have the sushi.
All right, Donnie, over to you.
Not adventurous at all. I'm telling you, if it's something like if I can't get it down, it's coming right back up immediately at this point. Like, other than super sour stuff or the kid bringing home like freeze dried like candies, I am not adventurous at all. If it looks disgusting, like, hey, why don't you try this like alligator? I don't like. You would have to tell me it was like chicken and you made it and it'll probably be delicious. But the minute you tell me what I'm actually eating, it won't go down at all. So for me, the most bland eater, like, I like spices, but I also like to know exactly what I'm eating, and I am not adventurous. You put rattlesnake in front of me, I'm not trying it. I know people like will try anything. Oh, give it a try one time. You never know if you like it. Get out of town. Not trying any of that stuff, man, because it won't go down. It'll just fly right back up.
Now, on the other side, I will say that we're all gamblers here. So I would say my number,
exact opposite.
$10,000, $20,000. I don't know. You give me some money. I'm not, to a degree. All right, Bob, let's not throw a dick in your mouth. But I'm just saying, rattlesnake, 25 grand. I'm definitely doing it. You know what I mean? So
plus 100 price. Yeah.
Will you remember Fear Factor? The show, I don't even know if they still make that.
Horrible.
Yeah. So, it's funny that you say that because I very much still send in audition tapes to shows. And I always am just like, listen, I am very fearful of snakes, but what would I do if I'm on a game show for $1 million or 500,000? Right. You take that fear and you go for it. But am I going for a hike where there's snakes potentially there for the love of going on a hike, hell fucking no. But if there's money involved or if there's the potential, then of course, what is our number one incentive in life? It's, it's money.
Of course. And as Donnie, you bring up freeze-dried foods. I got this to review.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I haven't tried them.
On it.
They're sitting right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Flying Illini, I'd love to, since you're the one that sent it to me, and anyone else who would love to, I'd love to hear your comments on this. What is one of the most exotic foods that you've tried? Flying Illini, you could put away your cock from jacking off to our beautiful faces. Get off of that cum-covered keyboard that you have. Type away and let me hear exactly what you have, because I know you're very, very well traveled. But moving on from that, Donnie, let's jump into some MLB. What do you got?
Let's go. I got two games that I want to take a look at, some afternoon action. By the way, fun night last night, a lot of games, not so much today. Only a handful of games on the card, but the Athletics are taking on the Houston Astros tonight, Severino and Alexander. Looking at the total, 9, I think they can get there. I slightly like Houston just because they're at home and the Athletics are a bad team, but I'm going with RBI props. One side on Jose Altuve at plus money. On the other side, Nick Kurtz, who's been absolutely sensational as a rookie for the Athletics. Plus money on both sides. Just give me the split. Give me the 2-0. I love it, but I'm just asking for the split and the plus money. Later on tonight, Seattle and LA. This line's getting too high here. Opened up at 9, now sits at 9.5. I don't think we get 10 runs between the Mariners and the Angels tonight. Kikuchi has been very good recently and over the past 60 days. I think Evans should be able to at least hold down those Angels bats. That game doesn't see 10 runs. So 2 RBI props and an under tonight on a short card. Let's get to Friday.
All right, Sammy, over to you. MLB today. What do you got?
Yeah, Donnie hit the nail right on there with the short card. And I can't really talk about the Yankees because they're stinking and, they're not playing today. So I guess I'm going to have to pick some teams outside of that. But, Tanko's running that contest, Cover the League, for the second half of the year, which is a great contest. We're only a few days into it. So if anyone wants to get into it, you got to pick every team to win at least one time. Once you win, then you're out and you got to pick everyone else. So with that being said, I went with the Angels tonight over Seattle. Nice price. Again, doesn't matter on the spread or the money line. They just got to win to cover the league. And I went with the Angels. And then the other game I do kind of like is the Cardinals at home over San Diego.
All righty. Good luck. And reload, last but not least, MLB today. What do you got?
Yeah, well, we're in our usual routine here. I'm going against Sammy, and I'm taking the Mariners. Seattle Mariners tonight in LA against the Angels, plus 133 money line. Nice price here for Seattle. Both teams are coming off dismal series. Seattle not scoring much at home against the Brewers, and the Angels just getting swept by the Mets. So they're moving on, and I think the Seattle bats will be a little more explosive in LA. And I think the travel spot here for the Angels, not the best either, having to come from New York out back to LA, no day off, just have to jump right back into things.
Right.
Something like that happened about a month or so ago. They played the Yankees in New York, had to do the same thing, lost the first game against the Astros, only scored 1 or 2 runs in that. So I think the Angels bats will be a little sleepy, where you'll see Seattle's bats be a little more explosive, hopefully. So Seattle plus 133.
Nice price.
All righty. Thank you. And Sammy, I want to lead this off with you because you're the one that brought it up. I'm confused on it. I'm actually surprised I haven't heard of it, but something about dupe accounts, basically.
Yeah, so basically on Twitter, if everyone's in the Twitter world or the X world, there's these Cental accounts, Cental, and it looks like every sport pretty much has it. It's like this joke account that tries to get to the news early, but it's all fake news. And then it turns out that a lot of reporters and TV shows and creditable journalists are then taking that as a source and then putting the actual information to their millions of followers just to get, you got Centelled. So one of the famous ones that just happened in the last 2 days was on ESPN First Take. The NFL Centel account posted a video from the 2024 Dallas Cowboys training camp where just a random wide receiver caught a touchdown. And then they said, George Pickens looking good for Dallas. So then, Molly and Stephen A. Smith are talking about it. And then they go to commercial and then they go, ooh, then they had to apologize on air to say that they got Centelled. I know the NBA does it too. They posted that Chris Paul was going to go back to the Clippers. And then, a few weeks later, it happened. I know there's a tennis Centel account too that sometimes I've seen on air on like Tennis Channel Plus, where the announcers aren't as, social media driven, and they get caught. So it's like, oh, this player is, splitting with this coach, or maybe they're dating this player, or is injured right now. Then all of a sudden, like, they're like, no, that's not really true. So, I think Centel started off as joking, or as, pushing the reality that you have to fact check. You can't just trust everything the media has to say. And it's proving the point that other famous journalists or TV shows like ESPN is taking the information and acting like they're the first person to announce it. So they're trying to take credit over something else, and then they're getting duped with it. So I love it. I know Donnie sees it as well too.
I love it. I just looked it up.
Yeah, it's just proven. You got to source check. You can't just take the first thing you read and just take it as fact. I love it.
Exactly right. You got to do your homework and fact check. But Donnie, over to you.
I love it. Like, I do live shows every day for hours, days on TV, and I always have my X account up on X Pro, which just scrolls through all the social media feeds. And when you get breaking news, you feel like you have an obligation to read that news right away, to be first. And we all get caught up in some of this stuff. And I was just looking at it because I didn't see the George Pickens thing, but I just went on X just to recap while Sammy was talking. And it makes me laugh, like, damn, George Pickens looks really good. I was like, wait, they're not even in training camp yet. Oops, got him. Like, you don't, when you are live, you're going to talk about everything that comes up to try to be first in the marketplace, and we do get caught up. But that's so funny that happens. But those accounts should go away. No, I love those accounts because I love mayhem, and I think it's hilarious. I do.
Reload, over to you.
Yeah, well, being first to market with anything is pretty big. Like, I look at a lot of different sources all day. I have a lot of things running all day, VSiN and everything else, and whatever hits the market first. There's value with that. And I'm always trying to stay on top of things like that too.
All righty. And Sammy, last but not least, let's talk some tennis. How's the tennis threat looking? What do you got?
Venus.
Yeah, tennis thread overall, we're 457 and 414. So we're basically even throughout the year, which the last 2 years have had some big profits. This year been a little bit tougher. But yeah, Donnie hit it with Venus Williams playing in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
I love it that we're back to American hard courts. We're back to the good East time frame. The matches start at 11 a.m. They go up until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I can watch it right in my heart of the time zone. But yeah, shout out Venus Williams, and also shout out to how bad the WTA tour is. No disrespect to Peyton Stearns, but 45-year-old Venus Williams that hasn't won a match or played a match in over 2 years is beating a top 30 ranked player. It shows kind of how bad the current state of WTA is, outside of like Sabalenka, Coco, Iga, some of like the top 3, 4, 5 players. But I mean, I love the fact that Venus won. She's a legend. She is one of like, she's one of the legends of the sport. There's an iconic, there's not enough verbs and adjectives to describe the impact that her and her sister have on the sport, for the culture, and the whole tennis world. So I love the fact that she won. She was plus 2,000. There was no way, shape, or form that she should have won at all. And today she's like plus 355, which means she's getting overpriced based off the fact that they think that she has a chance against Freck, which then shows you how bad she might be. And she's a top 20 player. So I don't think there's any way that she should be able to compete or even have the stamina to be able to, play in these matches. She's now played 4 straight days because she also played doubles. Now, playing 4 days isn't a big deal, but you're 45 years old and you're basically sprinting the whole time you're playing tennis. So, I mean, great for her, great for the sport. Her doubles match had the whole stadium filled. At the exact same time, there was a men's single match with about 25 people in the stadium. So Venus Williams will attract a full stadium, and respectfully so. But should she be competitive? Absolutely not. She should be losing the match 6-2, 6-2, hour and a half, move on. But I'm rooting for her to win, but she really shouldn't be winning. Other matches that I like tonight, I like Frances Tiafoe. I like the over in the Ben Shelton match. And then I like the under, again, in that Freck Williams matches. Again, it should be an easy Freck win. Or maybe Williams will shock the world again as a huge underdog.
All righty. Thank you, Sammy. And boys, good luck on all your action this upcoming week. And we will see you guys around on the forum.
See you.